Drop the beat. Team Speak.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Teen Speak. I am Mr. Dawson Elijah Bailey, and this is my good buddy, Coach Taylor.
Welcome. Dawson, I got a question for you.
Yes.
So in Sunday school today, you were talking about how you don't know how you could call Miss Haley just Haley.
Yeah, because
and how you could possibly call Jackie, which is kind of weird. Will you ever call me anything besides Coach? I'm just curious.
Not
I think
really.
It's like my first name now.
It's like that. I can't even finish it. No. You're Coach.
So
you're always
welcome,
Coach.
guys. Glad to have y'all back here again. We're going to be back talking about faith. Dawson, go ahead, direct us where we need to be.
All right, direct.
The only time you'll ever be a director.
Yeah,
continue. Pretty
much. I'm just a reader. All right. So today we're going to be at Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Everybody knows this is probably one of the most famous verses that most Christians know. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. All right, let me find my place. All right, so it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths."
Now, I believe this is one of the only verses that you've given us that doesn't actually have the word faith in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that you do this because this is obviously talking about faith.
Right, yeah. Right. Trust in the Lord, yeah.
This topic is very interesting. It's it's opposite to what our nature is. Our nature is to do everything by ourselves. Mm-hmm. I actually tell people that one of the biggest problems I have as a person is there are things that I could delegate out to people to do, but I don't trust someone to do it as good as I can do it. So I would rather take more on myself and do it than have someone else do it. But even if I'm not careful sometimes, I want to lean to like your dad preached about actually this morning. You guys can go back and listen to those messages if you like. But if I'm not careful, sometimes I even want to do things my own way, even though I know that God could do a far better job than I could.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I understand that, yeah.
And that's not saying it's right, by the way. That's completely wrong.
No. Yeah.
For me to do. But what does this mean to trust in the Lord with all thine heart?
Well, what I got from it was, a lot of, I wouldn't say older Christians, because they've had more experience and they know more right stuff than a younger person. I'd say more of young teenage Christians today, like myself. I'm not going to lie, I'm not. But anyway, so when it says on the very first part, when it says trust in the Lord with all thine heart, a lot of Christian teenagers, they pray to God when it's convenient for them. Mm-hmm. Where it's something bad's come up and they just they get it's like you use this example before. It's like a genie in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You just talk to God when you want Him to get to give you something, or what you don't want, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you don't trust God fully. You just kind of ask what you want. In this verse, I love it how it says trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Yeah.
I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, that's 100% commitment. I've seen one illustration that really stood out to me about this, and I also had an illustration. One time I went, and it was actually before I was here. I preached in front of a group of people, and I took out a chair, right? I took a chair, and I took it to the front of the auditorium, and I looked at the chair, and I really did like a deep inspection of the chair. Now, mind you, I'm in front of everybody in the church, so they're all staring at me like, what is he doing inspecting this chair like this? I pick it up, I counted the screws to make sure all the hinges were connected. I put my hand on it and pressed lightly with a finger, then I pressed a little harder with my hand, then I kind of leaned on it to see, and then I sat fully down. And the people by that time, they thought I was crazy, right? They thought I had lost my mind. And I told them, I said, this is how we treat God, right? And this aspect of trusting God is not about testing every checking every part of God to see if he works out. It's about fully sitting down.
Sitting
I'm going to ask you, Dawson, and I can assume this for everybody in this room. Did you check your chair before you sat down to trust that it would hold up your weight when you sat?
No, I just said.
Why not?
Because I had faith that,
Yeah, the chair's meant to hold you up, right?
I'm a really
and some
light
of the
guy,
funniest
so-
videos you can ever find on YouTube are people going to sit in a chair and it just collapsing.
collapses,
But
yeah.
that's a completely different story. But you sat in the chair because you trusted that it was going to hold you up.
Yeah.
But none of us do that with God. We were so hesitant to just trust in God and give our all to God and completely lean on God and not lean on our own understanding and just completely sit down and trust God. And the other illustration I saw, it was when I was a senior in high school, so not far from where you are. And a man wanted to show this trust, and he got his son. He took his son. His son reminded me a lot of Oliver, actually, just a wild kid, And he took his son, and he sat his son up on a high point. I think he was on top of one of those like pianos that stood tall and not like a master piano. And he told his son, "Fall back, and I'm going to catch you." And his son, without hesitation, just leaned back and fell, trusting that his dad was going to catch him there. And that's what this trust is with God. It's knowing that God's going to catch us, that God's there to catch us and to be with us every step of the way. Right. But we just have to trust him and take him at his word and test that faith. And that's what I hear from this when I hear trust in him with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. There are times when it probably makes more sense in your mind, and I want to emphasize in your mind. There's times when it makes more sense in your mind to do what you think is best. But I promise you, ultimately, in the end, trusting God and the plan that he has for you and the will that he has for you is going to work out far better than anything that you could possibly scheme up on your own.
Right. And like in the next verse, it says, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Trusting the Lord with all your heart, that kind of means, I don't know what my path is. I don't know what the future is going to have for me, but I have faith that God knows.
Yeah.
And so take God, please take control of my life, take control of my future.
Oh, for sure. I set a GPS to go home this past week, and whatever turn it told me to take, I took that turn because I knew ultimately at the end it was getting me to the destination I wanted to be at.
Right.
And God has a destination for us. That's heaven. And if we're a child of God and we just follow him in every turn and every path that he takes us, he's ultimately going to lead us down the path that he wants us to take and lead us to the destination where we're supposed to end at.
Right. And ultimately in the end, that's very comforting.
Yeah.
Knowing that someone can take care of you and knows what your path and your future.
And it doesn't
could
say
be.
here he may direct your paths.
That he will.
Or he will often direct your path.
Shall, yeah.
It says that he shall. He's going to direct your path if you acknowledge him.
It's very comforting.
Great verses, Dawson.
Yep.
All right, now so we don't leave it out.
Yeah,
Dawson.
Last episode we both.
What's the question you have for our commenters?
All right, questions for commenters, ladies and gents. So, Pixar is very good at making emotional movies, and making little kids and grown adults cry. I'm not a little kid or a grown adult. I'm like in the middle. There's a gray area. So, in one of the many movies that made me cry, and there's not a lot of movies that make me. Well, there are a lot, but that make me cry hard. Was Toy Story 4. That was a real dream crusher, like a childhood crusher right there. Toy Story 4 made me, that made me tear up really bad. So my question for today is, which Toy Story movie was your favorite? Coach, which one was your favorite?
I'm a classic guy, number one.
Toy Story 1.
Toy
Worst
Story.
animation and yada yada. Okay.
Hey,
well, anyway.
You wouldn't have 2, 3, or 4 if you didn't have
true.
one.
That is true. That is true. We got people behind me looking at me like, what did you just
They
say?
agree that it's 1. For sure.
Okay.
So
I'm still Toy Story 4.
you're outnumbered.
That's all I'm saying. I know.
All right, Dawson, where can they catch us?
All right. You can catch us on YouTube. That's where most of the people watch and listen to us. You can listen to us instead of watching us. We're not the best looking.
We have a face for radio.
Men.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that was sarcasm. Okay, anyway. So, well, you can find us on YouTube. We can look on Spotify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Answer my question. Ask any questions if you have any. We have another adult big boy podcast that we have, Cherishing Scriptures. Please visit that anytime. Come to church sometime. Sunday school's at 10, right?
Yep.
Isn't it at 10? Yeah, and the morning service at 11, Sunday night 6, Wednesday night 7. So see you guys later.